Good evening, everyone. This is Stuart here. Welcome to my shed. I want to talk a little bit about bowl gouges tonight. And this is videos aimed for people who are just getting into turning or who have used nothing but carbide up to this point, and they're wanting to know the different little idiosyncrasies or ins and outs a little bit of bowl gouges, traditional bowl gouges. I've been turning 5 years. And I'm not a professional turner. I'm just a hobbyist. And out in I started out with a Harbor Freight 12 by 33 lathe. Started out, this was my very first bowl gouge. This is a Benjamin's Best, out of a Benjamin's Best set of 7 or 8 tools I got off Amazon for like 70 bucks, 70, 80 bucks. High-speed steel. This was billed as a half-inch bowl gouge. Well, that's the diameter. Remember, that half-inch is the bar diameter. So about 12 millimeter bar. Flute's narrower. Flute's only about 10 millimeters, or maybe 9. I don't know. As you can see, it's very worn down. There's almost no meat here left. This turned out to be pretty decent steel in this bar. For being so cheap, it held its edge pretty well, I think. One of the reasons it got ground down so much is because I was trying to freehand sharpen it. That didn't work. Some guys can do it. I know Thomas Laub does. I know Richard Raffin does, and some others. Hey, if you can do it, more power to you, you know. But I got to use a jig system. I get my thing over here that I use. This is a kind of a knockoff of the one-way system. Works the same way. You stick the gouge in there to a preset length, which I have set up over there at the grinder, and then you just clamp it in. Easy peasy. This was my first gouge, half-inch bowl gouge. After I burned this, got this one worn down quite a bit to where I almost couldn't use it anymore, I went and bought one back on Amazon, bought a 5/8 bowl gouge because I wanted something a little bit bigger. You can see how short the handle is compared to all these others. This bowl gouge, this is not the bar that was in it, but this is the handle that it came with. It was a 5/8, which is, again, the bar diameter. I'm in the U.S., that's how we measure stuff over here. So the Europeans go by the flute width, which this is not a 5/8 wide flute. This is more like half an inch, 7/16, something like that. 11, 12 millimeters. I'm not really sure. Haven't measured it. Anyway, that bowl gouge I liked. It was, again, M2 steel, just like this, M2 high-speed steel. It worked really well, but it was there. These are a consumable item. That's one thing you have to know about this. It's like if you're doing a carbide guy, if you're using carbide tools, you got to replace those tips periodically. Well, these bars grind down. You sharpen them on the grinder. You take a little bit of material off every time you do that. So, anyway. The handle that this was the handle for the second bowl gouge I had. The third bowl gouge I got was this one here. This is sold by the Woodcraft store, chain of stores here in the U.S. It's their Wood River line of their in-house line of tools. This is another 5/8 bowl gouge, 5/8 bar. It's high-speed steel. And this gouge brings up a difference I want to point out too for people who don't know. There are two types. There's basically what I would say are 3 basic types of flutes. There's the V-shaped flute, that's what this is. If you look at the end here, it's a V. It's not curved at the bottom. Now this bowl gouge here is more of a U-shaped flute. You can see how it's wide. The wings here are wider than they are on the Wind River, and here's another one. This is a 3/8, a Hurricane 3/8. Anyway, I didn't really like this gouge very much when I first got it because of that V-shaped flute. It clogs up really fast, really fast. And the only thing I use this for is roughing out the outside of wet wood bowls. I'm a twice-turn bowl guy, so I start out with a chunk of firewood, goes on the spindle, and I've got this baby in here grinding off the outside. So anyway, That's what I've come to use this for. I will not be buying another one of these Wind River gouges. So that brings up another point. There's a lot of choices here. These are just my stuff, but there's a lot of choices out on the internet of quality and whatever else. And I recommend you buy the best you can afford. Now, some of this stuff's pretty expensive. You know, all of my tools are M2 steel in them, every last one of them. And they come in different sizes too, you know. Again, after I bought this bowl gouge is another 5/8. This is the Crown M2, but it's been cryogenically treated. I bought just the bar on loan, unhandled, off Amazon. It was $80, $90. It's a good gouge. But this flute, I don't like this flute because it's really wide. It's really wide. This is really narrow. I wanted a parabolic flute. That's the ideal. That's the third variety. This is the U, Wind River's the V. Then there's the parabolic, which is kind of what this little Hurricane 3/8 is. The same as this bowl gouge here, which is my newest one. This Rikon, this is a 1/2 inch, again, 1/2 inch bar. It's a parabolic flute. You can see it's kind of curved on the bottom, but it's not nearly as wide proportionally. So anyway, those are the things to think about. I use this one primarily for hollowing out the inside of bowls, which it does a really good job. It holds its edge pretty well, but the tip's really broad. Part of that is my grind I use, and it's just what I've started using, and I know how to make it work. So anyway, I also bought this one because I needed a smaller gouge. This again was advertised as a 3/8 bowl gouge. Well, I was thinking the flute was 3/8. I wasn't paying attention when I ordered it. This is actually more like a 1/4 inch, but it's okay because this is good for getting in little tight spaces, little final cleanup cuts inside of a bowl, you know, to get rid of some ridges. That's what this again, this is a Hurricane. Hurricanes are good stuff. Is it top of the line? No. Top of the line is Thompson, Carter and Sons, some of those. Those are top of the line. Hurricane, it's middle of the road. Better than the Benjamin Best by far, but still middle of the road. So, and you can get these on Amazon. And then this is another specialty gouge here. This is a 1-inch Hurricane. I got this from Tony over at Tony Turns Wood. Tony didn't like this. It didn't suit his style of turning. But it works really well for me. If I've got a really big bowl, big wet bowl in there that I got to get a lot of, I want to speed up getting the material out of the inside so it can get sealed and put on the shelf to dry, this is my go-to. This beast, this big thick bar, it's not billed as a 1-inch. It's not actually 1 inch. It's, I want to say it's like 15/16 or something. I don't know, maybe 20. See, an inch is 25 millimeters. This is maybe 22, 23 millimeter wide bar. Flute's much wider. You can see that's a beast of a flute, even compared to the 5/8 Crown. Anyway, this is a good gouge. I like it, especially when you're rough turning wood. There can be a lot of vibration and stuff. This big old bar absorbs it. My hands love this big bar, and it's got this big fat grip on it too. I like a fatter grip. This is too small. I'm clenching too hard. I have to squeeze too hard to hold on to this. So anyway, love this 1-inch Hurricane bowl gouge, but it's not everything. You can't use this for fine finesse cuts because there's just too much steel out there. Get something smaller. And now this one here, this is my newest bowl gouge. This is a 1/2 inch Rikon. I haven't even used it yet. I bought it on the recommendation of Chad Ames. Chad Ames Wood Turning. He's a guy in Kentucky, professional wood turner. Go watch his stuff on his channel. Makes a lot of beautiful stuff. He's got the biggest Laguna lathe they make, a 2436. I saw him using it. I was looking for another gouge to kind of supplement my tools, and I wanted to get something that was in between the 3/8 and the 5/8. This is a 1/2 inch, so it's the in between. It's in between these two. So, and he uses them, and he recommended them. And his comment to me, you know, Rikon makes this, it's an M2. It's the same company that makes those beautiful lathes. This is M2 steel, but it's been nitrided. Don't ask me what nitriding is. I don't know. It's some kind of treatment they do. Anyway, it makes the surface of the steel harder than standard M2 steel. Standard M2 steel, I think, is around Rockwell 62, 63. This is supposed to be like 72 or 75. So it's harder, therefore it'll hold the edge longer, which is what you want. The less times you got to go over to your grinder to sharpen, the more work you can get done. So anyway, plus it's flat on top here, so the Rikon has their own handle system with a collet set up and everything. You can buy just the collet kits and put on your own handles, or you can do like I did and just make your own handle with a plumbing fitting. And this is a piece of cutting board countertop, folks. My wife and I remodeled our kitchen. It had cutting board countertops that I took out. I stashed them away in my shed so my wife wouldn't see them. And here they become. This is the same material. Some of you who have followed me a while, you know I've made this big old bowl scraper. Same piece of countertop. So it's hard, some kind of hardwood. It turns really nice, and I can make it thick to fit my hands. I don't know. I don't have super big hands. They're like large or extra large glove size. But I don't know. It just feels good in my hands. I don't have to squeeze this as hard for some reason as I do a thinner, smaller handle. Anyway, I made this so I hopefully can get, when I grind this one down to nothing, I can just loosen this set screw up, pop it out, slap another one in. Anyway, these are all, I recommend, I think I already said it, but I'll say it again, get a sharpening system of some sort if you're not good at freehanding. Another thing I recommend is buy the best tools you can afford. If you're going to do traditional style tools, get the best steel you can afford. Now all these bowl gouges I have shown you in this video are M2 steel. There's another kind of steel that Carter & Son uses, and I think Thompson uses, and some others. And Crown also makes, they also make it, and it's the M42. M42 holds an edge even better than the M2. Tomislav Tomaszek, his refiners and his stuff, a lot of his tools that he's coming out with in his tool line are M42 steel, so they hold the edge longer. And the less strips you got to go to the grinder, the more work you get done on the lathe. The less time you're out in the shed or whatever, So this is my 2 cents for folks. If you're a beginner, that's who I want, and you just want to know about bowl gouges, this is my 2 cents on this. Because I started in August of 2020. It's June of 2025, and almost 5 years. If you're a carbide guy, but you're curious about tools, hopefully this helps you figure it out. I do have a carbide. I'm not anti-carbide, but it's just not my preference. This is because basically carbides are just scrapers. They don't cut the wood, they scrape it off. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody. I appreciate you guys watching. Bye-bye.